Work To Game presents Anthem Free Radio, coming at you live and on YouTube, with your hosts, Brian, Chemistro, and Nightmare Demon. Adventure with us as we learn more about the world of Anthem.
Welcome everybody to Anthem Free Radio, episode 9. We are on the eve of the official launch for everybody. We have been spending some time with early access. I've been on PC. ServMav joining me here on microwave internet. That's why you can't see his face today. He just moved. But we also got a couple announcements, a couple of kind of business things to kind of kick it off. ServMav is actually going to be joining the podcast as a full-time host alongside me and Nightmare. And the unfortunate news is Chemistro is going to be stepping away from the podcast. He is not necessarily going to be getting the game right away. He's had some issues with motion sickness, but it's going to be something that he ends up watching. And we'll hopefully have him back on this podcast to kind of talk about his experience with early access here maybe in a week or two whenever we have our next episode 10 scheduled. ServMav, welcome to being an official AFR member. So you just moved. Talk to us about your like kind of your move, your experience with the 10 hours of this game, and also at the same time like why we can't see your face. Like you're on some kind of internet. We hope that it gets better next week, maybe, or 2 weeks from now. Go ahead.
Hopefully, yeah. So yeah, guys, if you didn't know, I was originally out in the Dallas area near Brian, but unfortunately we had to move so that my wife could be happy, be closer to family and everything like that.
Dude, cannot underestimate that.
Happy.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, so we drove 20 hours. We're on the West Coast now and out in the country. So unfortunately, we have microwave internet out here, fiber optics. Of course, Amazon's here, so they need to pay for like the fiber optics to come out here. I'd be down. Come on, Amazon, do it.
Yeah, Sponge actually in chat has ways of going about getting really good internet. So in Discord, be sure to hit him up later because he's actually really strategic in how he got fast internet to his house. He told me the story about it one time. Long story, not going to be on this podcast, but preview for later then. Go ahead and continue your story.
I won't talk to Sponge then. But yeah, on to early access. So yeah, we're here. Early access happened. There are, of course, the flaws and everything that happened with the game, the bugs that it's going to come with early access. I mean, this is a live service game, of course. But no, overall, the core gameplay, I had a ton of fun just for the first 10 hours. And I paused on the Fort Tarsus or Helena Tarsus mission. So that was my last bit of the mission. So I'm dying to get back into it. I didn't even get to finish the whole mission with my trial, but
you only have like 12 hours or so, or like 14 hours till midnight, right? Or is it 10 o'clock your time?
It's technically 9 p.m. my time. So if y'all didn't know, Jesse stated that it's midnight in every time zone except for North America. It'll be midnight for Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So if it's midnight there, so Central Standard Time will be 11, 10, and then of course 9 over here on the West Coast.
I love it when they do that. It was always so brutal that it's like, oh man, I have to keep waiting.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's a main server that goes throughout the whole North America region. So they just launched it on one server and it's live for everybody.
Yeah, it just makes sense at that point. Just get in, just play. And then it's just, I guess, the more benefit for you because it's not going to be so close to bed. Because it's like at 11, I'm like, I might as well just get up early and play a little bit on Friday. So, obviously, we've seen issues. We've seen, bugs. And I think, one of the things that's just really telling about this game is we've seen BioWare respond in such full I feel like I've got more information than I've ever seen from a developer in a live service game. Like when Fallout 76 issues happened, we literally see okay, well, it's like, are they working on it? Are they aware? And then the panic begins to build. Like bugs are reported, BioWare themselves are responding to it. They're gathering information, they're going and testing it, and then they're trying to get us obviously updates as soon as we can. And for anybody who's in development, that is a monumental task, especially on such an epic scale like this game is. And so for me, just seeing that over the course of the last couple of weeks, it just instills me with insane confidence that this game isn't about day one. It's about day 1,000. It's like, how is this game going to grow and how are they going to respond? And I honestly have the most confidence in the world. So you said you got to spend 10 hours on the Xbox. Talk to me about that. Did you run into a lot of issues? Was loading time really difficult for you? Where was the motivation to and then also just the raw pain of the fact that you could only spend 10 hours as a part of early access. Like how did that work out for your week this week?
I mean, in my experience through the 10 hours, I mean, I didn't have a ton of issues. There was like a one jittery bug, like where you finally meet up with Halleck and Faye in that one mission. And then no spoilers, I won't tell you what's going on there. But
they turned into giant pumpkins. Sorry.
But basically after the cinematic ended, what the core thing, like it pushed all of our squad outside so we could go do the fighting and targets and everything. But what happened was it froze on the screen. Like all I saw was just mountains and everything, but I could hear, like I was getting shot, you could hear, and then all of a sudden the repair state comes in. So like you're downed. So I think it happened to the whole squad because we all got downed, and then we just had to basically just restarted us and we were back like fighting again. But that was probably the worst bug that I've seen. Another one that was an issue was, of course, the tethering where you're getting pulled into your squad. That's the worst one. But luckily, they've already said that's been fixed. It should be fixed now. The day one.
I played around with it, and it's definitely better. But I still have seen it. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll continue to work on kind of that improvement of it. So it has improved. I want them, if nothing else, just to move the box, because where the box is right by your flying kind of heat meter. And it's so hard to then see if you're about to, like, you have to listen to see if you're going to overheat real soon. And it's like, well, you're trying to get caught up. Like, should I land for a minute? Like, am I going to hit that loading screen? I can also report, like, as somebody who I've been on SSD drive, I didn't really have any loading issues. And the loading times have only gotten better. And I've even seen on Reddit people now actually responding like, oh my gosh, I'm actually loading in with my team, because the biggest pain point for some of these individuals were they would load in, their team was already gone, because I saw it with one guy who was just on a mechanical drive. Like, we waited for him, and it was a good 15, 20 seconds. Like, it gives us enough ability to get far enough so that when he loads in, he's got a countdown timer to try to get caught up, just to hit another loading screen. It was just like constantly. I really like we would wait, but it was like, oh my gosh, this absolutely needs to get fixed. And I think it's definitely gotten better. I wouldn't classify it as completely done, but again, I'm impressed just that people are loading in at the same time, and that seems to have hopefully solved a big burden of it.
And they said they were going to fix that optimization in the very beginning too, before even early release came out. But yeah, that was the main thing that kind of drew me away from the story just a tad bit, is the loading screen. I wish they found, like I said, I'm not a developer, I don't know all the technical aspects of how they could implement this, but something where it keeps you kind of engaged into the story. Maybe while in the cinematic, maybe it loads into that loading screen. Something that keeps you away from that loading screen. Yeah, I mean, this is 2019.
Just to try to hide it behind. Well, as it goes, we'll have to see like what levels and what kind of areas they decide to go in, because we've been hearing a lot that some of the issues, like with the sound, deal actually more with the Frostbite engine itself, as opposed to okay, they're still working their way around the technical hurdles of the development environment, and and so for me, seeing what they've done already with the day one patch, I did see some jitters after it, but I got up early this morning because I just can't get enough of the game, and I was playing through it, and I was like, yeah, everything seems to be running smooth. I haven't been having any issues, and the only real bug that I hit was on one mission where it failed to load in kind of a point that we would need to kind of defend, and because of that, like, it was just infinite enemies, and to the point where I was like, this game needs a horde mode. It needs a horde mode like right now, because you have a couple missions. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but holy crap, I was like, this would be phenomenal. And then also just more stat screens, more just a general stat screen, so I could see all of my, like, how is my build going, and then obviously,
as Chad would say, you don't like Excel sheets?
No, it's like, well, I mean, I guess we could play Excel Simulator as well, but oh man, I am really hyped for the future of this game, right? And that's actually kind of brings us into kind of our segment of the news. And you went and kind of like summarized this because you're amazing at it. And so I want to kind of toss to you, what did they talk about yesterday in a live stream? And I know what they talked about, and I'm so freaking happy for it. But why don't you break down what they're planning on with future updates that are literally coming weeks from now?
Yeah, so basically, Chad Robertson and Ben Irving talked about basically another patch coming in within maybe about a few weeks, so probably 2-3 weeks, I would say, somewhere around there. Some additions they talked about is basically that aspirational content that we were all looking forward to and everything. One of them is that in the community, there was feedback, basically the Strongholds, they want something to showcase to the rest of everybody else that, hey, I did this stronghold I completed on this difficulty,
Yeah.
or whatever. But they're basically including what they called stronghold vanity chests, and I talked about this morning in my video that I just released.
Yeah.
But basically,
link in the description of this one, by the way. Yeah.
Basically what it is at the end of every stronghold, you have these 4 chests at the end of the stronghold that contain these vanity items that are linked to the specific stronghold. So there's certain vanity items that you can only get within this stronghold. Accordingly, we don't know for sure exactly how that's going to work, but then we know there'll be a pool of vanity items for that stronghold that you can pull from these chests. But the kicker is you will need a key, and these keys will be unlocked and acquired by daily objectives, as Ben said. There may be other ways to do it, but for now, that's what Ben has stated before.
I like that idea. Like when they said that with the key concept, it's like there was a part like that I actually enjoyed that in Destiny, in which that you would do certain things, you get keys, and then those would actually open up in other content. And so it kind of says this is relevant, and also is this is relevant. And the question though that I'll have is that how many keys can we stockpile? Because if I can't go run those, can I end up like storing up a bunch of keys and then just like marathoning the various things to go and try to capture the gear? We don't know yet, but that for me, I was like, that's awesome. That sounds so exciting to see.
Yeah, apparently it's 1 key per day, but I mean, I'm like with you, like how many of these can they stack? He didn't specify anything on the stream of exactly how that was, right, and I also asked him too, but he hasn't stated anything yet.
we'll get an answer.
Yeah, but basically the kicker is also you will only be able to open one of these chests with 1 key per playthrough in the stronghold. So if you have 5 keys, you'd have to play it over 5 times to use all the keys. But if every member of your team has a key, you can open all 4 chests. And if one of your team members opens a chest, you actually get that loot too. So the cool thing is you can get 4 chests of loot and vanity items. So it's kind of curious, like how many vanity items are they going to include in this chest? I mean, they gave an example of 100. He was exaggerating, of course. We don't think there's actually going to be 100. But then, I mean, if there is 100, it's going to pull. And he also talked about it being random exhaustive, meaning that you're not going to have a duplicate vanity item from the chest. So once you get that vanity item within the chest for that specific stronghold, it's already unlocked. You're going to have it. You can apply it to all your javelins. You don't have to worry about having to get another duplicate and then get like coin for it or anything. But it makes me wonder, like, once you're done unlocking these vanity items, because like maybe the casual players are not going to have a worry about this, but like me being a hardcore player, I'm going to play every day. I'm going to get keys constantly and stack them up. What's going to happen after? What's going to be our incentive afterwards? I mean, we know we're going to get some embers, maybe some masterwork embers and all that kind of stuff so we can craft. But like, is there going to be coin included? There's still
coin
questions.
Would be a really good option, because that's one of the cool things about the system and the coin itself is that I can directly relate coin to, some kind of monetary, like actual real world money. So when I see that coin is dropping, it's like, oh man, that's awesome. That means I can be prepared for the future content that drops, and I can get it, or and not have to sit here and spend real world money, which is exciting. So coin actually has a ton of value for me, and I'm personally like anything I can do to get it. That's what I'm attacking. That's what I'm going for, and that coin, along with any kind of other drops, is just as valuable to me. So having that kind of happen, coin would be a good option. But then again, there's a lot of ways they can kind of go about it, but yeah.
Coin would definitely be viable, especially if they're going to be rotating the featured vanity items like they are currently. I think it's going to be like every few days they're going to be rotating it, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. I mean, I'm on a happy medium with it because I mean, yes, we get to see something new, and it's also based on I need to just test out how much coin we actually can get. I think it's quite a bit we can get on coin just playing through. So.
I mean, just from that playing through, but also like hopefully there's no real big cap. Because at some point, because like some of the things 61,000, it's like okay, well, don't cap me at 100, please.
Yeah, that seems to be like the max part too. But yeah, we don't even know what's the cap. I mean, is there a cap? Maybe we can just like completely funnel it up and it's infinite. If that's the case, then I don't see a huge issue with it.
Yeah. Well, I think at some point they want to. There obviously probably should be some kind of cap because at some point, let's think about it in a year's time or 2 years' time. Where somebody like, I'm sitting on millions of coin, and now it's like, okay, well, you can buy things and never have to play at all, and that's all well and good. But if there's a cap, let's say it was $1 million or something like that, well, then you're more incentivized to go and actually then start just acquiring things from the store because if you're getting coin, you're kind of capped. It's like I can't get any more. Whether it's whatever that number might be, we don't know yet.
I don't know. That's what I want to test though too. Is like when I'm at Grandmaster 3 compared to Grandmaster 1, how much more coin do you get? How much more XP? And then also they haven't even talked about whenever you gain XP after level 30, like what are you getting? What's the incentive on that part too as well? I know there's some future thing they have on that as well.
Agreed. Let's see here. So what else did they talk about? What else did they announce?
So they also announced what they're calling legendary missions. So basically they're wanting to test it out first to kind of feedback from the community, but basically these are crit paths to make it harder scale. So for example, they talked about starting out with the first 3 missions that you first start in the game. It's just a new way of playing the same mission within the story, but on a harder content, you're getting more enemies, more mobs, different kind of mobs are coming at you because, you know, each faction has their own different hierarchy of different enemies that come out.
Right.
At certain levels of difficulty. So they're adding that in too. And that's something they want to kind of gain feedback before they launch it out through the whole story. But if it goes over well, apparently, Ben stated that they'll launch it throughout the whole campaign, which would actually be pretty awesome.
I've enjoyed the missions immensely, and I think there's a really interesting variety with them as far as it goes. And when I say variety, it's like I've really kind of, you know, playing it through once is great. If by legendary, if by increasing the scale and the difficulty, hopefully it's like more mechanics and not just like more HP bars, because that ends up, as long as it adds a little bit of spice or a little bit of variety when it comes to the different scales of the difficulty, that's what I'm looking forward to. Because then it just is like, yeah, it's not the same. Yeah, I've played this mission through 1,000,000 times or 1,000, 100 million times. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
And that's what we talked about before too. Like, how does the AI change at different difficulties? Do they flank differently? I mean, that's kind of what we need to look into as well. And does it change it up enough to keep it satisfying?
Exactly, man. That's exciting because the biggest complaint that I have right now is that, like, after having played and finished the story, at least kind of the main arc, because obviously the story is going to continue, but like I can't go back and play through any of those missions unless I get randomly matched into it. So if I ended up having a bug and wasn't able to see a cutscene or wasn't able to, etc., like that ends up being like, okay, I'm gonna have to wait or I'm gonna have to go to YouTube to watch it. So I think that this will hopefully also help address that, because then it's like, yep, you played through it. Now here you go. Here's you just the mission selector. Just go nuts, have fun. And I can't wait to see what happens, especially because it's like when you think about it, when the next kind of story chapter opens up, which they do a nice little tease at the end of it. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but when the next chapter opens up, like, yeah, like what just happened? It hasn't been a long time and I can't remember what we last left off of. We'll have to wait and see. Is there anything else that they announced that you were particularly excited about?
One last thing was, we know we had I guess you want to say like 3-month roadmap out, but now Chad Robertson mentioned on the stream too that we're going to give you a more 90-day calendar. It's going to come out possibly next week, and it's going to be way more detailed, so we kind of understand what these events are that they are rolling out, more detailed information on what quality of life changes we're getting, all that kind of stuff. So that's really cool.
With the 90-day calendar, that basically you can kind of look at, and what we were speculating on is that the roadmap is one act is about 3 months worth of time, meaning basically targeting kind of an content update once a month, which is really aggressive and also very exciting. Therefore, like, you can kind of look at the full picture and assume that if everything's going off of that, they just announced the 9 months worth of content drops for this game, which is really, really exciting to see, because that means that by the time this fall, like, man, we'll have guilds, we'll have leaderboards, we'll have new strongholds, we'll have all of this new stuff. And I think as a part of it, why I think BioWare is really going above and beyond, both in communication, but with that feedback relationship, we're working alongside them. They're going to prioritize things that are important to us as well as that are important to them. They might think, we want to do A and B, and then based off of the community might vote for B first. And that's really kind of exciting to see that they're interested in that relationship and continuing that conversation with us.
Yeah, the communication is phenomenal. I mean, I haven't seen anything on this kind of basis of communication within the community in a long time.
Two kind of points that kind of came up in the live stream that just really have me really excited. It's that they are actively, it's not like, okay, we'll look into it after launch. They are actively working on crossplay. And what they said is right now, it's not a technical issue. It's a matter of the console manufacturers, aka Microsoft and Sony. So I think is what we're going to see here, hopefully real soon, is like a crossplay announcement. Because one of the things that, like, we've got people in the community that's PlayStation players, Xbox players, PC players, and if we can sit here and all play this game together, that's really going to, I think, separate Anthem from the other games where kind of the communities are kept separate to their respective platform. And hopefully that is something we get to see prioritized well before the end of the year. And they said, like, it's not hard. That was one of the things. Like, it's not hard to do this. It's just a matter of it's more of a legal thing. And so hopefully we'll get that settled.
They've set it up for the future already. Like
exactly.
That's exactly like with the same thing. Ultimates, they even talked about it later. That's like it's a long-term thing. It's not going to be anytime soon, guys. So don't get all crazy and carried away.
Yeah.
But they've made the game for the long-term aspect. So like, for instance, Ultimates are a gear piece, so they can change, so it can be swapped in and out at a later time. So they've thought everything through on a long-term basis of what they can do as well as Crossplay.
It's also cool to see how easy they can also hotfix the game, which is like one of the things that it's like, there are things that require updates and those are bigger things, but there's also things that are like behind the scenes. Okay, guys, we fixed it and you're good to go, which is
I was
really
surprised
exciting.
on that. I was really surprised on that. That was fast.
Yeah, really fast. Even with the store, they like hotfixed like the images. People were like, can we get like different angles for like if I'm going to buy that piece of gear? And then like within hours they're like done, and now you can see the like the image, the front and the sides and the back. And I was like, wow, way to go, guys. That's obviously, doing a picture probably is much easier than like do a try on. How would this look on me, and etc. But I'm sure we'll probably get to that at some point. The other thing that really has me excited, and I think, and the game, like, I didn't know it needed it until after playing Apex, is the ping system. And they are actively also looking into adding that as well, because when we talk about communication, like, wow, like Respawn, I don't know if they built Apex in Frostbite. I can't remember for some reason. But regardless, if it is, or just the fact that it's another EA studio, that ends up probably being a real asset to them as well. So say like, hey, Vince, can you send, like, okay, can you talk us through it? Let's get that added here. And I think the influence Apex has had just with that system alone is going to positively impact gaming and multiplayer gaming for a long time to come. That system is just genius, and I cannot wait. Like, those are the two big things. I think Apex, we get the Apex ping system and we get crossplay. And oh my gosh, dude! Like, this game, I think it's gonna really, really excite people for a very, very long time.
That aspect, I agree with some of the reviewers that maybe even talking negative, like in the aspect of it's not a finished game. I mean, but
yeah,
that's kind of the future of the games. I mean, we have live service games going on that it's never ending on what they can do and what they're going to add in. So it's not like the old where it's just one game and here it is and you paid $60 and that's it.
So let's talk about the negative reviews, because I mean it's next on our bullet point list, and and it's a perfect transition way to go, segue. And what was your take? I've actually been looking forward to the reviews coming out, because it's like, I've already known like people are just going to come in and just hate on the game, and I've been just kind of really curious to see like how they go about it. And I actually really appreciated it. I thought there are some that felt like I've balanced, and there's some that definitely have a skew. And honestly, at the end of the day, like, one of the things I see, especially because I was talking with like Destin Legary about this yesterday on his show, was that there's just a lot of positivity. There's a lot of people who are excited about this game, a lot of people who are having fun about this game and also speaking up about it as well. And so, like, we knew that with the games as a service game, like, I've never seen one launch as well as this one has, despite its issues. But at the same time, like, every games as a service game, like with the rare exception of Final Fantasy XIV with Heavensward and Stormblood, where the reviews have come in like overwhelmingly positive, I was just like, okay, yeah. I don't think it even matters. I think it's a point that people need to consider. But what are your thoughts about the negative reviews that are about the game right now?
I mean, as long as they're being constructive in their feedback, I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, when I'm not going to name out this YouTuber that talked about it, but I mean, whenever you are playing a storm on the ground and using them basically as a ranger and gunning down your foot, you clearly, and never combo at once in your video. I mean, you clearly don't understand the aspect of the game mechanics in this game. So how can you actually review it? I mean, I don't know how many hours.
How does one review a games as a service game though? Like,
that's the thing. I mean, there's two fronts here. You can review it, but I think you have to review it in the aspect of it is an early live service access game.
Okay.
I mean, you can't review the full. You can't say this is my full review of the game at all. Like, you really can't, because at that point you haven't played it. You haven't put enough hours and enough time into and that's the only thing. Like, most people are maining one javelin now. They haven't even switched over to a second javelin. Yeah. So how can you?
I'm still on Storm. I have not even bothered with trying to gear up another javelin at the moment.
Yeah. And because of my early access, like playing the closed alpha and everything like that, I probably have about maybe 40 plus hours in the game, but still like that's not the full aspect of the game because there's been so many changes since that first initial closed alpha that have come through. So I mean, that's my point on there.
Well, and then, so what would you say then? Because the counter argument though, is that, we shouldn't give these companies all this like freedom to release something that isn't finished. So how would you respond to that?
I'd say it's needed because I mean it
is a weird
it's a weird medium because and that same aspect, I mean, they're finding bugs that they couldn't find on their own with just testing crews that come in for quality analysis and making sure that the game is running optimally. So you need to put it out in that live world to actually see where the issues can find because millions of gamers are going to find way more than what you have in 100 testers.
Well, especially with multiplayer games, one of the things is while they definitely have the opportunity to be the most profitable, generate just years and years of revenue because of the nature of a multiplayer game, they're also so much more costly to do. And I'm not using that as an excuse because the thing that I've hit on, and I've been saying it actually since, especially before Fallout 76, is that I do not understand, and I would love it if somebody on the inside would explain it to me. I do not understand why these games do not launch in beta. Fortnite's still in beta. Gmail was in beta for generations, it felt like. Like, launch in, like, hey, you can buy in. Like, a lot of when you see the early access kind of components where you can kind of buy in early and play and be a part of that, like, why not? Why launch as like, this is our release, as opposed to like, hey, we're launching on the 22nd in beta. You can choose to buy in. Our official release, we're going to announce that once everything's hammered out, and then you as a player, like they could even say like, yeah, like buy in for $50 now or a little bit less, and then you go forward, conquer. We're going to keep doing these things. I guess from a story narrative perspective, you don't want to like ruin that, but I don't know a better way, because essentially, like, if you think about it, that here in 2 months, or heck, even here in the next 90 days, we're going to have a vastly different experience than we have today. And the experience I'm having today is hella fun. The experience I'm having in 90 days, I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we get a kick back and report. That's really where this podcast together goes. And with Nightmare, when he's able to get back from his vacation, is going to go and explore. It's like, now that the game is out, like, how does the roadmap apply? Like, are they going to do something like, just egregious to the community? And honestly, every sign that I see points against that. And that's why, from a negative review, I think you need to know who you are. So if somebody was watching this and they're like, Brian, should I get Anthem? I would say, who are you as a gamer? Like, if the first impression is the utmost importance for a game, whether you're going to stick with it, then wait. Because if you're going to get frustrated by a potential bug or an issue that you're going to run into, let us people who are early adopters find that for you, get it fixed. So by the time you come in, that you're going to have a pristine experience. And nothing highlights that point more than Division 8.1. Like, I came and played the Division 1.8, excuse me. It was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I'm not having any problems. But then I also was talking to people that are like, no, I tried it. It was horrible. I'm never going back. So if you're in I tried it, it's horrible. I'm never going back. Wait until like March or April before jumping in, because then you'll have a much more enjoyable experience. So if that's the kind of player you are, know that about yourself. And if you're cool with like, oh my gosh, like, I just ran into a problem and okay, we reported it, devs responded, oh my gosh, it's fixed. If you like that kind of aspect and you like these kind of games, jump in and have a hell of a good time.
No, I totally agree on that too. And I mean, that's the thing about Division. Like, Division had so many bugs in the very beginning, but I mean, that's going to be with especially with any early access game. I mean, there's been very few games that have launched without bugs. Right. Even Apex Legends, as great as it is, it had a few minor bugs and balances that they needed to take, but I mean, nothing on a major scale.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's about expectations. It's also like, again, like we said, we don't want to give them all the room in the world that they can release something that is unplayable.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we also need to make sure that, like, okay, what are the correct expectations that we should set? What's that relationship with it? And BioWare, being that they've communicated, that's why I just released the video reviewing Anthem's BioWare, and in which that they get an A+ from me. They've communicated, they've instilled the trust that not only are they listening, but they understand and they want to make the best game possible. and we're there to, it's a relationship rather than a kind of a one-sided kind of aspect there. So, okay. Any other thoughts on negative reviews? Because the last segment right here is week 1 plans, and I'm really looking forward to your content, guys. Sir Mav is almost at 1,000. He's almost going to be able to be eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. The link to his channel is in the description of this on YouTube. If you're still with us, be sure to check him out. Hit that subscribe button. He's putting out, especially if you're like Anthem, he's got a lot of week 1 plans, because I know him because I'm looking at the outline. But Matt, why don't you break down what are your week 1 plans starting at 9 o'clock tonight? What are you doing, sir? Tell me and tell the world.
I might be playing all night. I'm not positive. I mean,
have you gotten approval from the wife?
I have approval. I have approval all
That's
weekend.
a good wife. Yeah.
But I was spending time with her, of course.
Absolutely. Julie's gonna be playing with me. So I haven't had on PC. So on Xbox, we've got 2 Xboxes. So she's gonna be like, we're gonna.
Yeah, same here. Here. That's exactly how my wife is. She wants to jump in as well. And she'll be, of course, starting on the very first part of the critical path. But my main thing is like first week. All right, I got to finish the critical path. I got to catch up with all the early access PC players like you over there. But I mean, I see Masterworks and Legendaries popping over Twitter right now. I'm like just dying.
I haven't got a Masterwork yet, dude, and I'm just like, oh, come on.
Doesn't it just get you so stoked? Like you just want.
It does.
I gotta get that.
It does. Like, especially because it's like when you get those additional rolls, like it really, there is a what I call kind of a gear lust, where it's like, oh, I would love to play around with that. Oh, that would change up how I was thinking of building this javelin. Oh, I've got 5 different ways that I could build a storm now. It's really exciting to kind of see that. And I go back and forth on the fact that they don't reveal what you get when you get it, but then I think I'd get distracted if they did. So I'm kind of fine with the system, but I'm waiting for that Masterwork to drop. I'm just waiting.
Don't worry, you can jump in with me and we'll go snatch that in Grandmaster 1.
Heck yeah, dude.
But yeah, and then just getting all the strongholds. I'm excited. I haven't had a chance to play anything but the Tyrant Mine, so I'm excited to play the other 2 and see how they are. Legendary contracts. I mean, I've already dived through a couple of the regular contracts and the factions, and it's really satisfying the gameplay with that. It's not the same every single time to me. I mean, yeah, you may have like catching the echoes, but the essence of the world and the environment around you within that part of the story of that contract changes the way the gameplay, and I really like that aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And then if you don't know, if you haven't watched any of my videos, I'm mainly like a build and theory crafter enthusiast and everything. So my niche is definitely like analysis builds. I'm going to be testing out weapons. I'm going to tell you what the range is, how good these weapons are. I'm going to be looking at crazy niche builds. And what I found was interesting too, even just in the early gameplay, like the components, I thought originally you could stack like, okay, we have like this ultimate whatever component or this Storm Ranger component that just focuses on grenade. Apparently it can only have one of those components equipped for each thing.
Yeah.
From my understanding. So that's interesting that you're not going to be able to stack it. So the builds change up.
Yeah, you
that
can,
way too.
Based off of its symbol, it's like it's going to have some restriction, but because of the engrams and the different roles, like you could be like, okay, these are both at the same power level. Do I want to go with the additional like shotgun, because then do I have a shotgun that I think is going to take advantage of that, or do I want to go like, because it's like you can see based off of that, and having 6 options feels really, really powerful. That's where they really need that stat screen. I would love to have that overall, just like here's your character, here's their stats, here's how it's kicking some tail.
I know for the time being, like my buddies over at Freelancer Enclave and also Fort Tarsus, they have an API system set up to where you're going to be able to look through and they'll have all the data in there.
Yeah.
There's basically an API set to where you can like actually do your build, see what it's going to play out to be and everything. I don't know how exactly they're going to work it. It's going to be interesting to see when they implement that.
Yeah, it's going to be
that's going to help
community-driven tools, and it's going to be a fun. It's going to be like the next 9 months, man. But also even still, the next 3 months with this game is just. I think it's. I'm just like, okay, yeah. After this, going back to work. Just like, okay, Brian, focus, get the work done. All right, hey, Julie, we playing tonight, Julie. Hey, babe, yes. Let's light this candle. I'm beyond thrilled. For me, week 1, kind of complete. I've done the story. I've just been playing around with a PC, kind of doing various different tests, formulating my thoughts, kind of going through and just kind of trying to gather all the lore that I can find. Because that is one of the coolest things that for me, like they've built a world,
tons of lore.
Like if I was going to review the story, like it was really interesting. And then the villain itself, like what are we doing here? And so but the world, the playground is so exciting to see. And so I cannot wait, and hopefully we'll get to dive in more and get more understanding about these characters and who they are, and having it all kind of how the world relates to itself. And I love how different things over here react. I don't, at the end of the day, the picking a side or another, like kind of the two options, I wasn't expecting much, because it's like there's nothing that I can do, because this is a narratively driven game. There's no decision that I'm going to make in the town that's going to kill off a character that they have plans for in 9 months. You know, like there's no, I don't see any of the decisions I'm making as having a grave impact, but maybe that's just because we're just now scratching the surface. And in, 6 months time and in 9 months time, it's going to be like, well, I made this choice, like, in 2 weeks into it, and holy crap, that went down a rabbit hole, and it led to some interesting things that happened over here that other people might not experience. So I'm going to give them some time to flesh that out. But I can say for a fact, the voice acting and the animations, these characters, like it immerses me.
They're on point.
Right on point. And the only concern that comes up about it is, from a development perspective, to maintain both the voice actors, to make sure they have the lines, that it's animated, so that by the time the update rolls out, that we're getting that kind of content. And it's not like, man, remember the last time we did a story quest? That was last year, because they haven't had that work. But holy crap, like it really blows me away. So week 1 for the Xbox, play with Julie, enjoy the story. Play with friends on
Don't
PC,
leave me out.
Play with iGame, play with Sir Mav there. But yeah, just because, especially the alliance system, like friend, like it just is like friend people, guys, because that's going to be one way that you can get and continue to get that coin each and every week, which is really genius. And
that's one thing I want to test out too. Like I want to make a new pilot. I want to group up and see, okay, how fast can I get to level 30 from there? Even going off the story.
Yeah, and that could end up being a guide. Like, hey, if you're not like worried about the story, like how long is it going to take you to get to level 30 and go and just run at it? And they're I don't know. I've been blown away. Go ahead.
You know what I'm excited about before we end it here? Cataclysms.
What is that gonna be? Because we just silenced one, at the end.
I'm gonna call it out. Like I'm thinking the cataclysmic event. I'm gonna go off a whim here. Okay. I'm thinking, because these are world shaping machines, whatever you want to call it, that these shaper relics that go into play.
Yeah.
I'm betting they change the world in some aspect to where maybe it's all snow, maybe it's all desert, maybe certain aspects of the map. Like how they did in Fortnite, to where they changed the map into certain aspects being snow. I guarantee you that this is something they're probably looking into, changing the biome up.
Beyond that, like you'll learn, and people will learn, the relics themselves have more power than just moving dirt. They can bend reality. They can change memory. They can literally make it, instead of changing memory, that things happen differently. Like these things just...
Are you saying time travel?
It could be time travel, or it could literally be just reality shifting, things. Like it's like you could wake up one day and all of a sudden we're all a part of the Dominion. It's like... who knows? Like that's the power that these things have. That's and the story that's going to unfold is going to be really epic to see how it goes from here. Because you're right, yeah. And imagine that, because now the Tyrant Mind, different things physically have happened within it, so it goes a whole different path. It has a whole different boss. It's got everything that you just can't even understand. Randy saying needs a real life manifold to split me into 3 people so I can get more done. Heck to the yes, man. Get me my manifold. But that's, that quest itself literally has that impact, that has that ability. And so it's just going to be that exciting to see how it goes from there. Sir Math, where can people find you? What are you working on? Go.
So I currently have some videos coming out for Battlefield 5. If you are interested, of course, this is an Anthem podcast. We'll have
whatever you're working on.
Have continuous Anthem content coming out as I progress this story, get through the crit path, and start looking into builds. So expect more on that. Expect analysis of different builds. But yeah, and then I'm joining the company of Brian on Xbox and maybe PC one day. Hopefully I get a PC build
if
here
we get
soon.
the crossplay, that's all it needs. It's like I play on PC, I play on like Xbox. So like I'm playing on PC with Randy, playing on PC with a bunch of other people. Destin Legary friended me last night, which was great. I was like, yes, all right, cool. Like I need that alliance. I need that coin. And then at the same time, and then if I can sit here and be like, I'm on PC today and Julie's on Xbox, we're having a good time. Great. If I'm on Xbox and Randy's on PC and you're on Xbox, it's like, let's just let's break down these walls. And I think the fact that they are saying that the step they're on is the legal step. It's not a technological thing. Let's get this done and let's just unite the clans. And it's going
I think Microsoft's ready. I think it's just Sony holding back. That's just my statement.
Honestly, to the point where like if Sony wants to sit here and drag its feet, like about this, it'd be so cool if they're like, all right, Xbox PC crossplay, just like with Fortnite. That kind of
they would have to join it. It would force Sony to have to get in.
It would, because all of a sudden you have like all these PlayStation players, and then essentially if we have to do it every year, if every year we have to keep petitioning Sony to be cool.
What if they do it whenever they launch the new consoles out?
Well, I think that's going to be kind of a key staple in it. Like from just us, like, hey guys, like the new generation, here's what's changing. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's going to be crazy. We'll probably hear more about the next generation this year, and then
I'm speculating too far.
Yeah, that's like wow. That Anthem Act 20 is out. There we go. Anyway, guys, for me, just working on I'm working on State of the Game for February, and I'm sure it's going to really upset a lot of people. It's not intending to upset people. It's just asking kind of tough and critical questions. So we'll see how it goes. It's like how many people...
Controversy.
No, it's not. Not even trying to be controversial. I'm just diving into... I've been diving into a rabbit hole, and so that's kind of been kind of fun in a way. And so then also I'm working on, oh my gosh, the lore, basically the Final Fantasy 14 summary story. This is something that I'm hopefully going to target for April, and it's a massive undertaking, and hopefully people are excited and enjoy that. We'll have to wait and see. And then obviously with Anthem, I'm going to be working on just like leveling up, learning as much as I can about the world and the game, because I'd like to do some lore videos. I'd like to do some just various, like any kind of guide that I can help get people into the game and help them understand it as quickly as possible. So, like I said, check out iGames HDR, iGameHDR, and link in the description below. Also, if you're listening to us on iTunes or Google Play, thank you so much. Please be sure to leave us a review, and we appreciate it. This has been a Work to Game podcast. For Work to Game, my name is Brian.
My name's Sir Matt.
Sir Mav, there's the microwave like coming in.
Oh, I got a robot voice.
At the very end. That was great, because that's the reason why we didn't have him on video, because it was just like, it was pretty bad. Thanks so much for watching episode 9. We'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 10. Hopefully we'll be able to get Chemistral Nightmare back on. Chemistral to talk about his experience with motion blur and the kind of just motion sickness with the game, and how he's going to go ahead and choose to wait out. But also, guys, it's just going to be a lot of fun. Keep it locked here at Work to Game, and also at iGameHDR. And we'll see you next time.
Later, guys.
Hey guys, it's me, Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you're new here, we hope you hit that subscribe button. Check us out. We talk a lot about video games, and we hope to at least hear from you in the comments below. We also try to respond to our comments. We really appreciate the comments, the discussion, all the various points of view that everybody is so kindly, I guess, and politely or impolitely shares with us from time to time. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. We hope you hit that like button. We hope you hit that subscribe button. Come back for more content each and every day. We post a lot around here, and we'd love to hear from you about what you like about video games and everything, and especially if you have any questions that you're stuck on in anything. So anyway, signing off. See you next time.